Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming to this afternoon's session. As Carolyn mentioned, my name is Jackie Horvath, and I'm the owner of Horvath Communications, which I founded in 1996. I have over 15 years' experience as a tower owner and have witnessed various changes and trends in the industry during that time. I want to start by telling you a bit about the company. Like I said, it was founded in 1996 in my hometown of South Bend, Indiana. I originally built towers in the Midwest, but have since started developing sites from coast to coast. My company is solely focused on developing and owning towers while maintaining and marketing them to the carriers. We aren't involved in any other aspects of the industry like DAS or providing services. We simply own and manage our own tower sites. In my 17 years in the wireless industry, I've developed over 400 sites, as Carolyn mentioned. Recently, we sold 150 towers to SBA, and now we're working to rebuild that portfolio. I got my start in wireless in 1994, working for Charlie Hayes, who owned towers in northern Indiana. He originally hired me as a bookkeeper, and fortunately found a spot for me in development when he realized my lack of bookkeeping skills. In those days, we did everything ourselves. We negotiated directly with the carrier, we prepared all the leases, and we even killed the weeds of the tower sites. In fact, our first office was in the building of a cell site, and I used to take my youngest son, who was 2 at the time, and who was 18 now, who was with us today, right over here, Ben, with your hand, to work. He created quite a stir one day when he turned off all the switches on the transmitters, and the doctors didn't receive their pages that day. In 1996, I branched out on my own to build my first site. It was in my hometown of South Bend, and I built it for a total cost of $45,000, which included purchasing the land. Centennial Wireless was my first client. They paid me $600 a month for 3 Omni whips on the tower, and my bank payment was $595. Fortunately, I got my second tenant, OmniPoint, now T-Mobile, now AT&T. Within a year, I was able to feed my kids again. My daughter Erin remembers when I used to drive her by the towers and point and say, "That's your college education up there." Erin is actually doing business development for the company now. She works out of our Indianapolis office, and she is here with us today. Through my experience in the industry, I've learned many lessons on what to do and what not to do. For the next few minutes, I would like to talk with you about what I consider keys to success in the tower industry. They are: each company and individual is different, and these are not necessarily unique to the tower industry, but these are a few things that have worked and have not worked for me. The first key to success is what I call finding your niche. It is critical to play to your strengths. Throughout my career, developing and owning towers has always been the core of my company. I did dabble in the services side of the industry. For a while, we performed third-party site acquisitions, did marketing for other tower companies' assets, and even some environmental services. Other than establishing new relationships with the carriers, we just didn't find this to be profitable for us. And in some cases, it was even considered to be a conflict of interest with our tower ownership. The most detrimental aspect of this was that it took my eye off the ball, and it sidetracked me from focusing and finding good locations to build towers. I learned my lesson, and from now on, I focus on my niche, developing and owning towers. Another key to my success is avoiding partnerships. It is important to control your own destiny as much as possible. One of my least favorite terms in the industry is turnkey. As a tower owner, this involves providing the carrier not only space on my tower, but a package deal whereby we handle all the aspects of co-location all the way through installing their equipment. Through these types of packages, anything that goes wrong along the way can reflect poorly on us, even if it does not involve part of the development process that we control. Early in my career, I partnered with other service firms on a few projects to provide this total solution to the client. Most of these did not go well, as they could have, because they tied my name with the other companies and kept me from controlling the pace and the quality of the projects. Avoiding this is especially important as a tower owner because the relationship between the tower owner and the carrier can last potentially for 30 years. We do maintain very good key relationships with top quality service firms in several markets, but always keep our identity with the carrier and focus on providing outstanding customer service to our client. My next key to success is in the area of team building. It is important to surround yourself with a good team. A strong support staff with several years of experience has been crucial to my success. I'm a delegator. I prefer to oversee and manage the overall process. The way to do this is to learn and understand your strengths and your weaknesses. My strengths lie in marketing and sales. I prefer to be out meeting clients and traveling the country to develop new relationships. My strengths are not in attention to detail and the finer financial or contractual aspects of the industry. This is why I built a team to complement my strengths and my weaknesses. For example, if I had to review lease language on a daily basis, I would not have developed too many towers. Shannon Schmidt, our lease coordinator, reviews both ground and carrier leases on a daily basis. She has impeccable attention to detail and is exceptionally thorough, which is critical to any tower company because, as you know, overlooked items can be costly errors. Dave Elke, our director of operation, project manages several sites at the time of search ring issuance through construction management. He has worked on 50 sites at one time, with each site at a different stage of development. Any misstep in the due diligence process can be costly in terms of dollars, as well as time to market. I've also mentioned my lack of bookkeeping skills, and therefore rely heavily on my finance team, Jennifer Sarabica and Jason Lehman, along with Pepper Tree Capital, who I will discuss in a few minutes. Through trusting my staff to handle everything from site acquisition through construction management, I'm able to play to my strengths. With a strong team behind me, I'm able to focus on working with clients regarding areas to build towers. My next key is adapting to change. Through the last two decades, I have witnessed lots of changes in the industry. Adapting to that change was critical to building a sustainable company. Interaction with carriers is one of the areas of change. When I first started out working with carriers, it was always a direct interaction with the RF team and real estate managers. We would sit down, they would let me know where they needed sites. I would review the coordinates, and based on their location and my financial resources, let them know which sites that we would build. Sometimes today I wonder why I didn't build them all. Sometimes today I wonder why I didn't build all of them, but the industry at the time was very young, and we weren't 100% sure how or if the industry would take off. Today, site location information is held very closely to the carriers. We have to work diligently to get search ring information, as well as compete for build-to-suit contracts. This is made extra challenging because many times there is no direct access to the carriers, as we may now have to work through large companies such as Bechtel, WFI, etc. Because of this, we have had to expand our relationship base, not only to include the carriers, but the project management firms who are working on behalf of the carriers. The time from search ring to site near has also increased dramatically. Today, as many of you know, due to increased regulation and zoning procedures for a tower, it takes a minimum of 6 months to go from search ring to completed site. My early towers involved simply purchasing or leasing up the property, going through a quick zoning process, if there was one, and then pulling a permit to build a tower. My first site included me representing myself in front of the South Bend City Council, pulling a building permit, and then executing a 2-page site lease agreement with my client. This all took less than 3 months. In another zoning hearing, I was all prepared with charts and RF maps and tab notebooks to make my presentation when one of the board members stopped me and told me not to sell what had already been sold. The meeting lasted 5 minutes and we were unanimously approved. Those days, for the most part, are over. In order to adapt to this increased regulation and tough zoning, we have built several relationships with local firms in each market. For example, it is much better to hire local attorneys or zoning specialists to help you succeed at getting zoning approval to build a site. Recently, we were in a tough zoning battle in Jackson, Ohio, where we received zoning approval and were legally denied a building permit. Our legal team, based in the area, was able to work with the local jurisdiction to resolve the issue, which included making them aware they were grounds to sue in federal court. Because our local legal team had prior established relationships with the town, we were able to avoid a lengthy court battle. We recently stacked the tower, and a major carrier is co-locating. Outwardly, these increased challenges to get zoning approval to build a site may seem to be a hassle. Overall, I consider it a good thing. I'm sure many of you in this room have sat through contentious zoning hearings and can share zoning stories. I have been through my share and have been accused of being an evil capitalist, being only in it for the money, all the way to being asked why we couldn't put them underground so nobody would see them. Fortunately, we have received zoning approval for most of them. These challenges have helped to ensure that my site is the only one in the area, which increases the chances for other co-locations on the site. In other words, tough zoning creates barriers to entry and competing barriers for both carriers, and competing tower companies from building competing structures near our towers. These battles have also served to solidify my relationships with carriers during these times, since we are both on the same team and we are fighting for the same cause. My next key to success involves the competitive nature of the wireless industry. The tower industry in particular is very competitive. If you are an owner or work for a small tower company, you need to understand that there are several other companies that are trying to do exactly what you do. Therefore, even if you have a good relationship with a customer and are building sites with them as the anchor tenant, there are probably 5 to 10 other tower companies courting that client. It is important to maintain the communication between you and the client, even if you're not currently adding sites. If they are installed on your sites, they are still sending you a check each month. It should not be forgotten. At some point, they will be building out again, and you want to be fresh on their mind when they do. It takes some creativity, but maintaining customer contact is crucial. Also, there are only a handful of major and a few smaller carriers in each market, but they are all very well connected to each other. You have all heard the saying, it is a very small industry. Because of this, it is important to provide top quality customer service to each client with each new build, new co-location opportunity, or modification of an existing installation. If a regional or national carrier has a bad experience with a tower company in one market, it's amazing how quickly that can spread to all other markets. Fortunately, the opposite is true and can work to your benefit. Recently, we were awarded some build-to-suit opportunities with a major carrier in the middle of the country. Because we are performing well on this project, we're projecting to deliver the sites ahead of schedule. The news has spread and the doors are opening with that client in other markets. Also, this industry is very fluid. Customer contacts tend to move around to different companies and relocate. For example, last year a carrier co-located on several of our sites in the Los Angeles market. Then, just a few weeks ago, I was in a meeting in Philadelphia, and one of the gentlemen who had worked on the Los Angeles project was in the meeting. He had transferred to the East Coast and was excited to be working with us in a different part of the country, and passed along to his new colleagues how easy we are to work with. The final key to success I would like to discuss is having strong financial backing. My initial financial backing was through a bank, and it was secured on a site-by-site basis. I continued this route until I executed a build-to-suit with Brent in 2003, whereby I needed to raise capital to build 80 towers on a Cuba project in the Midwest. I don't recommend doing it this way, but I signed the BTS just prior to my initial financing falling through. After several sleepless nights and inquiries into other financing possibilities, I was able to secure all the funds necessary to build all the towers. Despite the rocky start, this project was pivotal in my career and turned my focus onto larger tower builds outside the areas of Indiana. After the success of the sale of the towers that we built on the Sprint Cuba project, we searched for another equity partner to continue to build towers, and are fortunate enough to have teamed up with Peppertree Capital. For the past 4 years, Peppertree has provided over $72 million in funds to build new towers, and I'm grateful for their continued confidence in my team. In addition to our respective offices in South Bend and Cleveland, we have a joint office in Toledo, Ohio, which is halfway in between. It is also known as Tony Pacos of MASH fame, and we have discussed several deals over the famous ski splatter. This has been a successful partnership, and we look to continue to work with Peppertree to replenish our portfolio after the successful sale of our towers to SBA. I talked today about my keys for success in the wireless industry. Everything today I said today may not be what you choose for your company, but maybe there are aspects of what I said that jump out to you and you can apply them. I think the first and most important thing to remember is to know and understand yourself and your strengths, then begin to build and create a company around that.